Let me get rid of that spot right there. So, listen, thank y'all for jumping in, joining Conscious Conversations. Y'all know we typically get on here and just chop it up, right? Talk about what's going on in the world, what's going on with you, the community as well. So, there's typically no real set agenda, but let me do this until KP works it out. I'll just kind of use this as an AMA, right? Kind of an ask me anything. You guys know that I've done some pivoting slightly with my content creation as of late. And let's look at here. Here he is coming in now. I'm gonna make him wait. Coming in CP time. KP with the CP time. Uh, uh, maybe I'll get into that story in a little bit. Let me go ahead and lock him in here. Uh, what? Talk to me, man. What's wrong?
You can make me wait, man. I don't know what the ham sandwich was going on. Don't
KP
ask me.
with the
I don't know
CP
what was
time.
going on.
Huh?
This thing was just tripping, man. It ain't you. It was just, I don't know what was going on over here.
First of all, let's talk about that sweater, though. I'm gonna have to find out where you get that from.
Yeah. So you know what? Where's this
Talk to me about.
from?
Look, you got this medium on too. You got the little pectoral.
Listen, man, I got this sweater from Macy's, man.
Like that.
Yeah,
you got that Grammy money, so you can go up in the Macy's and they know you.
Ain't no Grammys money. It was just Macy's, man. That's all.
See that? Okay. See, I thought I was dope because today, speaking of clothes, every quarter I get a shipment from. You ever heard of Stately? Stately?
No.
So dope little men's subscription club for clothes, and I got my subscription in this today. So, I got some nice little things that I'm going to be rocking here as this fall weather kicks in. So I'm trying to keep up on the trends, but I can't keep up with everybody. But I'm going to find out where you got that sweater from. I'm going to go to the aisle this weekend.
I like it.
I'm just going to tell them I want that KP tan. I want that.
I got it in a dark color as well, man. It's a dope hoodie thing, man. I like it.
I love it. Jim in the building. Appreciate you for joining me. Listen, this is a good dude, man. I never met him in person, but he's always in the streams. Definitely chopped it up with us on Team No Sleep. He says he likes that mic, likes that distinctive mic. That's a KP original.
Hey, man, I'm about to change the color, man. No offense to Ecam, but I'm about to lose the orange, I guess. I'm gonna go. I got my yellow over here, but I think I'm gonna transfer. I don't know.
Okay, well, we're still rocking these Michael Jackson mics, though. I still don't see a reason to change the infrastructure piece, but we can always switch it up a little bit and make it look a little different.
Right. Oh, man. So how's it going on? How was your trip, man?
Which one, man? I stayed 30,000 feet in the air.
I see you be traveling.
Man, I got to cut it out too because some of the skies aren't friendly. I done been in enough turbulence lately. And you're right. I do a lot of traveling. I know my way around airports. I got the TSA we got it down.
I got to get
my wife. Yeah, you got to get that. $85 and just did it. It's 5 years. They make it so easy that you can go to like your local Staples and do your background check, right? You bring your birth certificate, you bring your social, and they make sure it's you. Done. Just there's no excuse. But yeah, I just got back from Vegas. Took some partners out there. We were hanging out there. Coming from Cali to there, and then from there to here, man, we was moving and shaking. And
wow,
I try to act like it doesn't bother me anymore because I done been through some things. I done been in a plane that got bird struck before, and we almost died from that coming out of Utah on the way to Europe. But other than that, and trying to calm the cats down that I was with because they're not normally flying. But other than that, it was good times for sure. Fellowship and meeting folks, hanging out with folks, that kind of thing. But yeah, drove from here to Oregon to see my son at school. And then after that, we flew to Vegas for some time. Next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be heading down to San Diego, I think next month, just to chill again.
You rolling.
Man, listen, man. Come on, man. COVID is over, but I don't have to stay in the house anymore.
Right. Yeah, you want to, you keep it moving, man. I appreciate, I like that.
Yeah. But you lucky. I'm envious of you because being in Philly, you can just get in the car and you can go
that part
45 minutes or whatever, and depending on how fast you put your foot in that Lexus. We're gonna talk about that Lexus too.
Look, I got some more picks, man. I've been feeling it lately, man. I'm loving these picks. Yeah, I've been feeling it.
But you can go from Philly, you can go to New York, you can go to here and there, you can go to Virginia. I mean, it's so condensed on the East Coast, whereas California is so massive that it's a 9-hour drive from my house to my daughter's school in LA, right? From Sacramento to LA is stupid, right? I mean,
that's crazy.
It's tough. It's tough.
That's a lot, man. That's a lot. Yeah, East Coast, man. One thing I do love about it is, especially being around Philly, you right up the street to New York.
Yeah.
DC is equal distance away. You got Baltimore in between, Delaware in between, got Jersey in between New York and Philly. And then if you want to stretch a little bit more, in about 6 hours, you're down in Richmond, Virginia Beach.
Listen, that's where my family at, man. Come on now.
Okay, all right.
And if you want to take a my parents grew up in Richmond, and I lived in Hampton with them for, when Dad was stationed at Langley for a while. So, yeah, man, we know that part of town.
Yeah, man. And then it's like everything is just, you want to hit down south. Like, even if Georgia's a good way, but on your way to Georgia, you got so many places that you can hop through on the trip.
Yeah.
And shoot, God forbid if you decide to drive to New Orleans or Alabama or something like that, you got a lot of, you know what I'm saying? It's worth the trip. It's not like on that West Coast where you make that one trip. It's like, who's in between LA and San Francisco, really? Like, you know what I mean? And Washington tough. State. Like, it's like, ain't too many homies over there. You know what I mean? Like,
it's tough. The commute is a lot different over here on the left side than it is over there on the right, man. So talking about that, October, find a way. So I've already talked to Sylvia and Andrew. So for the ECAM thing that's jumping off in Massachusetts in October, I'm gonna plan to fly in and go to Florida to go to Preston. So, yeah, because I don't know if you heard that they got a little open store now, and they got a whole little area that we can go in, print up our own shirts, just hang out with them, have some scotch or whatever, have our own adult beverage, and do those kinds of things. But so I'm planning on making that a whole little gathering from here to Florida and then up to Massachusetts. Let's do it, man. Come on, man. Let's do it. Then I might just come by your house and get some of that Pelzer coffee.
Listen, I do it right, man. I do it right in that thing, man. I have to do it right, Yeah. Have to.
Laura Williams is in the building. Good to see you, my friend. Haven't seen you in a minute. Always glad to have you in the comments. Sammy Superstar's in the building too. That's a good thing. Sammy, I'll be up in them streets soon. I'm going to B&H. Probably in April. I'll let you know, Sammy. I gotta do a B&H run, man. I'm long overdue. Watch out. The lenses are hey, Sony coming out with a ZV1 ZVE1 full frame in the same form factor as your A7C.
Oh, wow.
You hear about that? Come on, brother.
Nah, I'm not,
you better stay up. You better stay up.
You know what? I'm in a shooting zone right now where I hold two of the best Sonys. That ZV, I mean, the A7 IV hybrid. I was shooting with the 5 because I was all hype on the R5.
Yeah.
But then I realized I'm like, now I know how to shoot with them because the R5 is like, the megapixel is like 60. So, you kind of like, I can just stand wherever I want and just shoot, crop it, right? But that hybrid is just so fire that, I went up a camera to appreciate the one before it. And I'm sitting there like, now I've been telling people that got the 3, it's like, that autofocus with the updates that they done in them, you're not really missing it. I mean, like, it's like having an AMG Benz. Like, it's an AMG. You understand what I'm saying? It's an M5. It's an M3.
Yeah.
It's you know what I'm saying? It's like telling somebody with an M5 from 2010 that your car sucks and you need the newest one. No, you don't.
Not really. Yeah, talk about
really,
that.
you know what I mean?
Talk about going up a camera to appreciate what you have. I mean, that's see, I got you right there. It came out your mouth.
Listen, I went up and it's like, when you look, matter of fact, they're right on the table behind me. It's
Come
like,
on now.
you kind of, because this one will preach. Is all about the lens for the most part. It's not, I don't want to say all about, right? But it's really about the lens. Because I can put my 70 to 200 lens, I could throw that on the A7C and I'm good. It's just, especially if you know how to shoot, especially if you're shooting like this, you're not putting up to your eye. I don't like the A7C because I don't like putting my eye in that little small thing. I like a full frame.
Yeah.
But what I end up learning is it's like, no, it's dope and it's hype. Like, between the two cameras, you kind of don't really know which one you got in your hand until you know which one you got in your hand, especially when you into the art of what you're doing. So I think where James is trying to push me, y'all, is basically saying about purpose, right? You can't, I saw Alec put up, how he got gas and, he put some stuff up, and I get it. And it's like the studio setup. These lights I'm using right now, every one of my live streams are going to look pretty much the same, but you won't know that I switched the lights technically, because once you get into that level of accessorizing and how your vision is, the product, it takes a lot for the product to be more to do something. So with my A7 5, right, R5, I mean, unless I'm out chasing cars down the street, you don't know the difference between what's in my hand.
That's true. And I would add to that as well, to say, because I've seen folks fall into this, don't let someone tell you that your vision is wrong, right? Folks will get into a trap and be like, you like the way your lights look. You like the way your editing works and your photos look. And that, don't change that just because someone else says, oh, maybe you need to color grade this a little bit differently, right? You got your own vision, as opposed to, did he freeze? Or he just still? What he doing?
Who, me? Oh, no. I was reading what Sammy said.
You over here,
Sammy,
you would win.
No, because I was looking, because I looked on there and Sammy's like the 70 to 200 for $500. I was like, what?
Let me do you.
Bro, you saw me look, I was like, for $500? Then he said it was a Canon lens or something. I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Man,
Sammy messed me up real quick.
In a stare contest, boy, because you was locked in for a minute.
He threw me off. I was like, wait a minute.
I'm like, did he freeze? I know the internet is paid for. My man Jim is here. He was here last night when every time on my streams, brother, when I get to talking about some controversial stuff, and we were getting into it last night. Team No Steak. Yeah, we went from everything from transgender athletes to Desmond Howard on the plane getting racially isolated.
Oh, y'all went in on that.
Yeah, we went in on a whole lot. And as soon as we started talking about some of that extra stuff there and trying to get some feedback from the community, Ecamm blew up. Not my internet.
Really?
Ecamm blew up. Right. So the fact that I'm always coming in through Restream now. So I'm always coming in through, so I was able to restart and come back in. And really the community didn't see the glitch. I just was talking about it, so they knew there was a glitch. But this beta has caused a couple of issues. I don't want to talk bad about family, but it's caused a couple of issues. But I know it's beta software. But yeah, we blown up a couple of times on live. So.
Ooh, yeah, that's not good. Even like now, I just got a slight right now. Ecamm's not open, but whatever it does in the background when you put the what do you call it? The system audio on.
Yeah,
it eats at it. It just has a conflict with my Apollo, so I normally just turn it off, but I didn't turn it off, so I can hear you well. Hopefully, I'm not like dragging over there.
No, you good. You good.
Okay,
and folks would definitely let us know.
Okay, but look back on it. What's up, Sammy, Kevin, Laura? I see y'all. To everybody that's out there and anybody I miss. But no, on the lens thing, this is interesting because the thing I learned about creativity is I literally started getting into a zone with the photography. And I was able to help people because they start asking you like, yo, what you using? And I'm like, yo, I'm mixing up. Like this lens is on here right now. That's the Tamron. And this Tamron lens is what I shot the car with. See this right here? I shot the car with this. And that's what gave it that stretch. So when I went to that wide view of the car, I needed something so that when I cropped it, I had a long picture. Man, and so this right here, deliberately, creatively wise, if I want to, like, put it this way, anybody is watching or watching this later, this is crazy. Little keep secret right here. If you are the type of person that talks and use your hands a lot, you actually can take and use a wide angle lens deliberately to bubble you just a little bit. So when you talk and they see more of your body movement and you're not fighting for space with your hands up in here. So that's if we talk about nuggets, that's the nugget I'm gonna drop right there. So yeah, you got it right there. So for that, all that's the Tamron lens. That's the Tamron 11-20 lens.
My goodness, that's hot right there. Look at that, boy.
Yeah, that's the look, man. I'm trying to get Lexus to hire me. You know what I'm saying?
I was about to repost this and send this out to. Is this the Wakanda? Is this the Black Panther Lexus?
No, shit. I wish it was that one. It's the that's just the RX, and it's not an F Sport. I normally get an F Sport, but they didn't. They said it would take forever to get it, so I was just like, yeah. So it's actually copper. But like when I did a little bit of my aftertouch on it in Lightroom, it started to get more of that orange, like butterscotchish tone, whatever. Yeah. And I was just like, all right, burnt pumpkin like thing. And I was just like, all right, I'll just go for it. Matter of fact, more like this pumpkin here. I said, I'll just go for it.
Hold on. Yep. I'm gonna do this right now. I'm gonna do this live. Yo.
What?
Yo, Lexus. Yeah.
Because I looked on their website, I'm like, man, I think my picture's a little bit better than some of y'all joints.
Y'all, I need to hire my guy, KP.
Man, or you gonna be my agent. They start hitting me up. I'm like, yeah, you call my manager, my brother James Hicks, or handle that. You get your cut out of there. You know what I'm saying?
I just want 10% off the top. That's all I want.
There it is, man. That sound like you doing better than the music business,
Look, there it is right there.
Whoa, Strict City. My Strict City guy. Look at him. Look at this.
I put mine out there. Yo, Lexus, y'all need to hire my guy KP.
Hey, man. So that's the thing about lenses. No, now here's the thing. When I go out with both the cameras, sometimes I forget. So when I want to pose and have the camera in my hand, sometimes I forget which camera. Like, I know the difference between the two with the cages, but sometimes I switch the cages and I'm like, wait a minute. And I got to a point where I made the settings the same. Of course, the newer camera can do more than the other one, but I don't really weigh in on that because my style of shooting, it's more than significant enough. Like it does more than enough. So like you mentioned, like the new ZV camera coming out.
Yeah.
Well, most people, the problem will be if they put them on a desk. To me, it's like incarcerating the camera by putting it on your desk. So the camera on your desk is the camera that you really don't have no use for in the field.
That's, right? That's true, because it's like this FX30 doesn't move, and it's primarily for video. It's only it's locked in on the tripod. It only goes with me to events. But yeah, it's $2,000-3,000.
I mean, if you know how to move it. Yeah, if you know how to move it, it makes sense. Like the camera on the jib, that's the A6100, right? And so because most of my video, I shoot it in ASPC, right? The crop format, and running it into the ninjas, for like B-roll, I'll keep it simple and say my main shot, if I use a full frame camera, the A7C, my B-rolls will be both APS-C cameras, right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
And I found a mixture between them two. But it's like, shoot, if I afforded it, I would have got an FX30, because when they came out with the FX30, I was like, yes, I'd rather keep the bulk of my video work in APS-C.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, to go full frame on it I'm like, nah, it's
you
too much
pay
bread.
what you want for the body, but when them lenses, you gotta get the primes and you gotta pay that extra money. I see Sammy chiming in. He talking about cine lenses. Now, I know our dude Tom uses a lot of cine lenses, and Viltrox is dope for some things that they do. Speaking of Sammy, did you know he plays the drums?
Yeah. Yep. I remember when Tom did a live and Tom was doing the drums. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Sammy's a drummer.
Man, he all of 14 years old.
That's why he's a superstar. That's why he's called a superstar.
Brother,
you know what I'm saying?
All of 14 years old, and he got, musically inclined, audio and visual technology. He was first one I knew who had an Amazon movie. He made, it's bad. It's a bad dude. Y'all need to follow Sammy Superstar. Yeah.
That's why you call him a superstar.
That's why he was the first one whose shirt I bought. He was the first press and show. I can't even say it out loud. Press and show gear that I bought. Sammy's.
Wow. See that? Gotta love Sammy, man. That's my guy.
Give him some shots. Give him some love. I love it. So you pretty much are migrating and transitioning over into the still photo world and telling your stories there as opposed to just staying on the video side.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be doing more of the live, especially you and I here with this. And look, we about to go ham on this because I was just busy past couple of weeks, and I know you were traveling as well. But like summer coming up, we're gonna have some stuff to rap about. But yeah, and then Sundays, if I don't have to go out and speak, I got a couple of funerals I got to do. It's like I closed the church and I'm working more now than I was when I had a congregation. I'm like, dang, Gordon. I mean, folk like, yo, since you ain't pastoring the church now, you got time. And then they like, and bring your camera while you with it. I'm like, what you want me to do? Preach, play, sing, camera, like, you know what I mean? Turn with me to the book of like, come on, y'all. Like, because, yo, man, let me tell you something I'm learning. And when I say I'm about to put 2 feet on the gas, I am going to be traveling with some celebrity somewhere soon. And I'm not just aiming for a celebrity. Like, I love any and everybody, but it's like this photography for phones to get as great as they gotten. And then there's an uptick again in photography. Okay. And then APS-C is, is trying to make a little comeback on APS-C shooting, right? I'm just not going to go to APS-C because I'd rather the space on a full frame if you're taking pictures.
And you know how to use the tools of the craft, right? So if you already have the tools and know how to use it, you might as well take advantage of it. So that just, you don't have to explain that to folks who purist. You don't have to,
Yeah. And the good news for people that it's like, look, if your dollar is only, has you invested in APS-C, it's like you can shoot. I mean, my son uses my A6600. Mm. And it's like he takes pictures in it and uses them. Yeah, I mean, he's snapping and nobody really looks at his pictures and say, oh, your dad uses full frame and you don't. It's like, it's all in with the, how you take the picture. It's just, of course, once you get to full frame, you ain't going to want to go back taking pictures. Yeah. But that's not true for video. For video, I'm like, yo, tomato. You know what I mean? That's why when people get into that nitpicking, crap about 8K and all, I'm like, dog, who's playing 8K on there? Like, you know what I mean? Who's really looking like, I see
that's crazy about that.
Not me, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into these comments because people are chiming in, but that's crazy because I go to CES every single year, and this year I went to Vegas. They did the 3D TVs. Thought those were going to be the thing. The next year coming out because we'll see it in Vegas at CES the year before it kind of comes out at the Best Buys and things of that nature. And then 4K TV came out, and it was like, okay, this is dope. Looks really good. I mean, this is nice, but everyone's got cable, got Cox, got Xfinity, got AT&T, whomever, and they're not even sending that feed yet. You're only getting a 1080, 720 at best sometimes feed coming from your provider. So Netflix was the first one, if I'm correct, that actually started providing 4K feeds for folks at home. So you done spent all this money. You done spent $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 maybe, depending on the size, on a 4K TV back in the day, just to say you had it. But all you looking at is a 1080p feed coming out.
Absolutely.
Why you do that to yourself? Because that's out of your pocket.
Dude, you know what it is? It's like having a pair of Air Force Ones on, right? Okay. Or a pair of Jordans. Yeah. So you got the Jordan 12s. So let's just say you got the Buffalo leather Jordan 12s on. And both of y'all going on the same basketball court. Do those sneakers make you play better than the guy that got the regular ones from Foot Locker, or yours better because it got the diamond encrusted swoosh on it. It don't matter.
I'm
like, you know, some
puppies on, and you got the diamond.
Yeah, there's a certain point where it's not really making that much of a difference. It's like, and right now in this day of social media, people are actually, I had to remind myself, people are looking at your pictures on their phones.
True.
Right?
That's true.
And so if you got a way between the person that's looking at it on the laptop and the person that's looking at it on the phone, there's more people looking at it on the phone. So when I start doing my editing and I start judging it, I have to look at this screen and be like, all right, sometimes that screen I'll be like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I got to get more in, make it sharper in this. And then I go to Lightroom in my phone and I say, that John look dope.
This is what it looks like, right? Either
then I quit.
1x1 for Instagram or 9x16, not 55 inches, right? Not everyone is watching us right now on a TV.
Right.
It'd be dope, but you know, they're sitting in the car or something at the drive-through watching us on their cell phone. So
and I thought about it, I was like, if anything, so a client I have, I got to go to her house in 2 weeks. She does podcasts, and so I was like, look, sis, I was like, faith comes by hearing. I said, so invest in your audio. If you have to choose your budget between audio and video, I said, invest in your audio. I said, you don't even have to go live on YouTube or Facebook or even Instagram if you got a podcast.
Yeah.
Double down on your audio quality, get the mic, don't cut corners, get the sound, don't cut corners, and then go into your camera. Because that's a whole nother monster. Lighting, the camera, the frame rate, the capture card, the streaming device, all that. I was like, that's too much work.
That's a whole lot of conversation that not folks want to have.
Yeah. So I was just like, put it in there. But yeah, to that point though, I look at the people that are in the rat race and not even be able to keep up. Like when I got my Ninja 5s. And it's like, Ninja got the 8K thing coming out in the RAW. I put mine on the 4K and put on RAW, and it's like, oh yeah, you can record for 15 minutes with your hard drive. I was like, oh, we're gonna back this down to Rec 709 something.
We don't need
Apple
all that.
Res.
We don't need all that.
I was like, yeah, what's the compressed format of this? I did a $5,000 project on and I turned it over in 1080p, and they was like,
and they were impressed.
My gosh, this is the best work ever. Can we hire you again? I'm like, sure.
Yes, you can.
So the language for me with all that extra color grade and this, that, and the third, dude, it's a ton of money to get out there for people that just want to go on a corporate website and talk some stuff. And your equipment is more than adequate, which leads me to another thing. I already have a Weeble S gimbal, right? Because I broke it and it doesn't lock, but it works fine. It just doesn't lock. I'm gonna offload that and I'm gonna get that mini DJS joint, whatever, right?
Okay.
But the thing is, do I actually need a gimbal? Dude, the way these cameras work, that in-body stabilization on my newest camera, bro, I was walking with that like ninja walking, and it was like, somebody said, did you use a gimbal? I'm like, no.
Nope.
I have a gimbal, but I was too lazy to pull it out.
I tell you what, but I think I know something that you may want to get, and it's this new. Hold on, this Ulanzi. Shouts out to Ulanzi. Oh, hold on, let me give some shouts out to the folks too. David Harvey, we see you in the building. Appreciate you, sir.
Ulanzi is tricky, man.
Hey, hold on, man. But take a look at this right here. This right here. They're S63.
So they got their version
rotatable. You heard about this?
So the company that came out with it first that had it, right?
Don't say small.
No, it was another company. I forgot the name of it. It slips me, but I saved it. They had it first. Okay. And somebody said Small Rig is going to have it next. I'll wait for that. Sure enough, here comes Small Rig with it.
Well, Ulanzi,
and now here Ulanzi has it now. So Small Rig is on back order on B&H.
Okay.
For that right there. The reason why I like that ring is because on my with the 70 to 200 lens, you have the ring on there on the lens, right? Because the weight is on the lens itself. But anything like a 24 to 70, none of those lenses have it, and it saves you from having to pull the camera off and putting it on the L bracket. Right. So if you're shooting and you just want to change the shot, but you want the model or wherever to stay the same spot, now with that ring, you just, shift the camera.
About. Listen, I'm all into easing my workflows. It's all of $46.
Oh, Yolanzi. Okay. So they done. Yeah, they had to step into the game. So whoever that person is, the company, it's on Instagram. I saw it on Instagram first, and everybody was in the comments section like, yo, what's up with that? Their problem was it didn't work with the Sigma 2470 lens. And everybody was like, oh, man, that's a deal breaker because the way they made it. So Small Rig is smart because Small Rig is going to say, hey, James Hicks came out with a way to unhook your mic and hook it back on. Small Rig going to hit you up and be like, yo, my man, you own the patent for that? You know what I'm saying? You gonna be like, yeah, they were like, we're going to throw you some bread because, we got the power to do it. And they going to do it. Think about it. Small Rig has the teleprompters. Where do you think they got them from? Desview.
That's what I'm looking at right now.
It's the same thing.
I'm looking at the Desview right now. Yep.
Yeah, and Yolanzi, they basically do the same thing. Just Small Rig kind of beats them to it sometimes, and sometimes they don't.
That's true. So that's true. I like this.
We're going to have it next. We're going to have it.
Yeah, that's true. And Newer's going to have it even cheaper. Don't know how they do it, but it's still they're going to have the same dope gear, but it's going to be cheaper. Motivated Minds, I want to put this up again. Love what you guys are talking about. Maximize what you have. I think we need to focus on executing more effectively what we already have. That's it right there, man.
Motivated Minds, I'm here for it. So yeah, we started getting a little techie. We shooting a breeze, but if we had our little preaching points,
you see how we weaving stories into this though. I'm always gonna get you. I'm always gonna get you to tell a story.
Let's do it. So whoever's here for it, and if people are driving by, you dove in at the right time. So if you're driving by and you came in the room, you're here at the right time. Hello to everybody. Now, here's the thing.
He about to hit him with the scribes and the Pharisees, y'all. Here we go. I mean, make sure
when I say I'm in my bag, I'm feeling it. So today, I give you a quick small preview. I don't have my eCam up, but I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna just do it real like touch and go, right? Because I don't want everybody to see exactly what I'm doing. Yeah. But I took that today. Me and Tina, right? Yeah. We out. So she got chocolate pants on. I let her put on my camera strap and put the camera in her hand. It's strategic, right? Because she ain't a photographer, but I threw the camera in her hand.
You still got that local. You haven't posted that yet, because I stay locked in on the page.
Yeah, so I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it tomorrow, and then tonight. So I'm in a frequency of when I post pictures, and I'm keeping my foot on the gas, right? A couple of photographers was hitting me like, "Yo." They like, oh, you ain't letting up off the gas. And I really wasn't trying to push it. It's just more so like, yo, stay consistent and then be intentional because my pictures tell stories. Yeah. So I'll create a shot. So now because my wife gets dressed for work every day on her, on the computer and stuff, I'm just like, I look at her and I work in a practice on if I need a subject to practice on photography, I'm going to do it with my wife. So I'm going to create it. So a couple of t-shirt companies hit me up already and was like, yo, let me send you some shirts. And, if y'all decide to put them on, put the picture, just tag us on it. Here go discount,
Boom.
Let me know what size you wear. I'm going to throw you some stuff. And I'm like, all right, cool. Some of them, I'm not really into their designs that much yet, and then I don't want to just be stiff doing t-shirts. I got to feel it. So I'm more so leaning into fashion, but in that I'm understanding pictures and shots. I'm cheating the lighting system because I don't want to drag around a bunch of flashes all the time. I got them, but I don't want to drag them. But to the point, what Motivated Minds is saying, maximizing what you have. We're on the other side of the trauma of COVID. And so everybody got into this creative mindset. So for Motivated Minds, here's a blessing to you. Everybody got motivated in a state of misery. So now they just got to make sense out of the motivation. And what most people have to do, they got to sell everything that they had a fake motivation for. And they end up giving up on what they were starting. So everybody was going live in the pandemic. Yeah. And now people just got a bunch of gear that's just sitting there and they ain't doing nothing with it. So for me, I'm kind of like, if I don't have time to just be live all the time, I can always go live. But what are you doing in between your live streaming? What are you catching people up with? And you don't have to prove anything to anybody, but at least respectfully tell yourself I'm doing something. So if I come to this basement and I look in this room and I'm like, I don't feel like streaming, right? What else am I doing? Because I didn't have gear acquisition syndrome. I acquired all this stuff. What am I doing with it? So the syndrome got to switch into a systematic purpose. And then when you get into purpose, you start using it. And then you kind of tell yourself, either I'm going to get rid of it or I'm going to do something with it. What am I going to do with it? And so now that for motivated minds, yes, it's maximizing in which you have. So while I'm thinking about streaming, I'm producing other people's live streams and podcasts and stuff. And in that, when I'm producing them, I know exactly what I'm going to put together. It's like the songwriters in our industry, like Neo. Neo was writing for everybody, and then he came out with his album. Other people, they come out with their album, then they don't feel it, and then they write for other people. You got to figure out which one are you. So you can sing, you can stream, you can take photos. So you want to train or you want to do? So either you training somebody or you training yourself, or you're entertaining somebody else. It's like you pick which one and you get into it. And that's the state of, that's where we're at now, especially for creative minds.
As long as you do it, as long as, again, if you've got that gear, I'm liking what you're saying. Let me say what's up to Flo. See you in the building. Appreciate you for joining, fam. As long as if you got all this gear and you got all this stuff, right? In those lulls, in those times where you probably don't feel like going live, like pressing that button, still do something. Read the manual. Understand how to do your white balance. Understand how to, I don't know, adjust the F stop. Do something to elevate your creative process and your mindset, because that is the practice, I guess, kind of as you were saying, the practice for that next gig, that next opportunity that does come around the corner. So it's almost like you're saying, and I'm trying to regurgitate back to me, because I'm selfish. I just want to make sure I'm learning. Don't be content in your ways, right? Just, I mean, you're good. Yeah, you dope now, right? You can pat yourself on. Don't be humble on, but yeah, you know what? I'm okay at what I do now, but let's get to that next level. Let's get 1% better, right? You got all this stuff. Figure out what these next buttons do. Figure out how to reduce that workflow by 10 minutes, right? Because, you know, chopping stuff up and doing micro content like Sammy, man. Sammy's out here putting out shorts like it's nobody's business, and they're getting tons of views and tons of engagement. Figure out a workflow of doing that more effectively, more efficiently than opening up a whole bunch of apps, whole bunch of other tools, right? How can you just get better at doing what it is that you do, right?
Look, Sammy, Kev, what's going on, Kev? And like you said, Sammy's in his bag. Like I knew Sammy would be in his bag.
Sammy was the first one to get on shorts and make some things happen. He told all of us. Nobody, we was like, man, what are you talking about?
When he was on that Vlogmas and he did that whole computer thing, I was just like, yo, he's funny as Jax. And, you know, he's got time for it. Like when you think about it, you think of Tom Buck, like he was a teacher. Yeah. But you know, he found his zone, he got in his bag, and this is what he do. And I'm gonna be honest, it took me a while because I was off of what my gift and purpose is, right? I was a little off. Like I'm on a grip with stuff, but I got off of it because I started getting hyped in what I'm good at, but what I'm good at don't necessarily mean it's the purpose, right? So you're going to like this because you take stuff. A lot of people have not realized what you're good at is not really your purpose. You understand what I'm saying?
I know
and
where
so
you're going,
sometimes your purpose, you may have to work towards it. So think of this. You take a Steph Curry or a ball player, LeBron James, whoever your favorite is, Allen Iverson. Why are they at practice all the time? Jalen Hurts. Why are you practicing? Why are they already great at what he does? Okay, so here's the thing: what your purpose is, or what your biggest talent is, you still have to work in it. So, and then other things you're good at, but that's not your bag. You're just kind of good at it. Like the crazy thing for me is, this is going to sound funny, I don't really think photography is my bag. I'm good at it. So I take the good at it and you build on the good at it for what the bigger purpose is. So now maybe I'll be bigger in, I've done this, so I've done the groundwork, so I can be the coach and tell other photographers that work for me in my business what kind of shots I want. Number one. Number two, I have to scout out and vet, do this kid have the vision that works for the vision of my company? So now when you come into my company, you see what kind of shots I take. There's no actual fingerprint on the style of photographer that Keith Pelzer is. It's not really a fingerprint.
Man,
that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand that. Like, I started learning, and honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I got inboxes from big photographers that was like, yo, dude, your eye is crazy. And I'm sitting there like, I ain't getting big headed about it. I'm honored. Like, yo, I'm glad you saw me. You understand what I'm saying? I'm glad you noticed that, because I know what I felt when I did it, but I wasn't sure if other people saw it. So I really gave up on what other people think. And somebody said this that just left out of here on a podcast. They said, my biggest struggle was not what I think about myself. My biggest struggle was always what I think other people think about me. Right?
Wait a minute. Stop. Okay. Stop. We got to slow down. I'm gonna need you to say that one more again. I'm gonna need you to say that piece right there. So this was in your studio.
Yeah, this is in the studio on Dr. Deirdre Jackson's show on Voice America. You guys can listen to that. I'm just going to throw her plug real quick. Dr. Deirdre Jackson, she's a friend of mine on Instagram and Facebook. On her latest show, which is on Voice America, we recorded it in here about 2 hours ago. The woman that she had is Nikki Baker. Well, I'll get her name together. But here's what she said. She said, my biggest struggle was never what I think about me. My biggest struggle was what other people think about me. And she was basically like, let that sink in. A lot of times we're not doing because it's about, now this is not a new concept. So this is not one of them, oh, that's a super big dope gem that I just dropped. No, it's you probably heard it before.
Heard it before, but again, it may be common sense. But again, just to hear it articulated in another way, right? Just really, really hits though. Man, okay.
Yeah. Keith Pelzer is the guy that makes, a steak or a burger. You done had 18,000 burgers in your life, but I make it and I put the right proportion of garlic.
You put a little extra something on it. You put a little extra
what I mean? It's sea salt instead of regular salt. That's all. Himalayan salt. That's the only difference with my burger, right? But the thing is, when she said it, I was like, yo, I needed to hear that. It's the biggest thing is what everybody else thinks. This is why I said it on your platform. I said it on Strick's platform, somebody else. And this was no offense to Ecamm, but it was when Ecamm let everybody do the takeovers, and I'm just leave it in general. I watched people in the comment section start to get intimidated or put people on pedestals that I knew wasn't as dope as they thought they was, or they had some growing to do. And people started backing off, getting intimidated. And before you know it, it was kind of like, well, if Keith puts a water bottle in the background, everybody's like, oh, put a water bottle there.
Gotta do it.
And I'm sitting there like, I'm not one of them people, because if you put an orange mic in front of you, I'm going to be like, why'd you put an orange mic there? And you better have an explanation for me. You better have an explanation for, if you get an SM7B, you good. But if you put an orange one in front of you, I'm going to ask you why. If you put a ladder on your wall, I am going to ask you why, because I care enough about you to say, don't let people trap you into thinking that's the way to do it.
Right.
Now here's the funny thing, and matter of fact, I think that's Indy I just saw. What I was laughing at? You know what I was laughing at with people? When everybody's going through these 18,000 mics, testing mics, and check this out, and look, I got a cordless mic, and it's like, why are you going through all of that? Like, for what reason?
We testing.
You're not Tom Buck. You understand what I'm saying? He eat, breathes, and sleep that. And I'm looking at people like, why are y'all doing it? Just cut across the field and do it, right? And what happens is, okay, at least India's
telling the truth. At least she's telling the truth,
Listen, if it's India, if it's you,
I'm sitting in my Delgado. This is I'm sitting in my chair that I named after her.
But look, India already knows. India gets a pass. You get a pass. I get a pass, right? Because we're going to sit there and fart around with it and check it. I'm talking about the people that don't have the India just do it, the Keith just do it, the James Hicks just do it. Like if it was 5 ZVE10 series coming out, you got all of them. I'm gonna just be like, which one you like, James? But for other people that go, oh, I got the ZVEJ5, and they throwing it at somebody, they throwing it at somebody, and I'm like, you don't even know what you're doing with it.
Yeah. You don't know nothing about saying? Like white balance, and you still on automatic ISO. I'm sorry. We should be talking bad, but
no,
yes,
but that's the part where. But that's how you help people, and that's the part where what the lady said today. Nikki said today. She said, lady that was on the show. She said, it's what other people think about me was my problem. You can't fix what other people think about you. You have to be content with what you think about yourself. Mm-hmm. If you don't think your stream looks great, then you worry about that you don't feel it. Once you feel as though it looks great, people that really love you and people that support you, they'll let you figure out what they see.
Yeah.
And then if you ask, that's a different thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And what I watched in that community was a bunch of people critiquing people right from the gate. It's like, dude, they need to get a new mic, and you critiquing them
without no real context, right? And without real subject matter expertise and no understanding of what's going on. You need to look like me because I'm doing it my way, and this is how you should be doing it. How many subscribers you got? Well, I got 400. And right, and again, it's always not in the numbers, but again, everyone is doing what they do for their own purpose and their own reason. If I'm trying to be like Keith all the time, it's somewhere I'm gonna fall off, right? Somewhere I'm gonna fall off because I can't be like Mike. I can't be like Keith. Can't be like Sammy or India, whomever else. I have, just like you're saying again, I'm just regurgitating it just to make sure it sinks into my old head. Mm-hmm. I gotta do what I gotta do for me as opposed to trying to be like somebody else. And I'll find my community. I'll find my audience, and they will appreciate the effort and the process that I did learn how to use these bits of equipment, that I did hone my communication skills, looking in the camera and dealing with technology issues, whatever the case may be, as opposed to, well, Keith got an A7 IV and an A7 V and an A7C. Mm-hmm. Guess I better get one of those too, because I sure do like what he's doing. But he's doing something different.
Right.
He's doing something different.
Yeah. I mean,
and I like the fact that you're willing to call folks out too for trying to perpetrate.
Listen.
And I think we need to do that more. I really do think we need to do that more,
especially in a content creation space, right? Because the worst thing that can happen. Now I'm gonna drop. This is gonna be a gem drop. I'm gonna do the India joint. This on my desk, but that's the India bell.
Oh my goodness.
Because it was sitting here forever, and India basically was the only one to use it, right? So I call it the India bell. But here's the thing: the worst thing that happens is when you gain a following of people that you can't lead. Oof. All right, let that sink in.
No, listen, I'm already recording. I'm looking for a pen now too, because we about to bring all ye ties and offerings.
The worst thing you can do is gain a following,
yes, sir,
of people that you can't lead. I'm sitting there watching some people that I'm like, you can't even lead yourself, but you gained a following.
Don't do it
off of dangling the carrot or the perception that you're going somewhere. Right? You know, we had that saying, it's okay to say you're not okay. Mm-hmm. It's also respectful to say, I don't really know where I'm going. I just love doing this. Because that's a difference when people are following you.
That's actually a sign of maturity and growth right there. I love that.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? Like, I would tell people, listen, it's people still saying to me now, I want to be on your show. And I'm like, I don't really have a show. Like, they're like, but you got the show called The Convos. And I'm sitting there like, the last time I did a morning convo show, that was over a year and a half ago. Like I literally like stopped. It was in the pandemic when we didn't know what the world was going to be that I was going live every morning. That's why I was called Coffee and Conversations. Then I just called it the Convos, and I was messing around with Ecamm. And then I started getting clients, so I backed off. And then I was just randomly going live. So people were like, yeah, but you got the lighting and the mics and your setup is dope and everything. But I'm like, I had to be honest and not say I have a show. Because I really don't have a show. I'm just like, yo, I am your everyday neighborhood friend that's like, hey, y'all want to play football? It wasn't a league on your block. It was just kids in the same neighborhood. And when did we play? We just, today's a nice day. Let's go to the basketball court. That's me with lives. Now, I like doing this with you. I like doing my Sunday thing. That's structure, but this other stuff ain't structure. But back to my point, you had people that were so hungry for attention that they would buy stuff to gain the followers. And I'm like, the stupidest thing you can do is have a pissing match on buying stuff and saying, hey, so look, I got the new phone. Look at that. And it's like, dude, everybody else going to have it in about a week or two anyway.
Just because you got it first, just because you pre-ordered or got it the day that Tim Cook said it was coming out.
I mean, you ain't Manny Ortiz. You not, Tom Buck. You not.
You don't get the pre-orders, right?
Gerald Undone. You're not Caleb Pike, so you don't get it before it come out. I'm sitting there itching because I'm like, oh, they demoing Jason Vaughn. It's like the 50 millimeter lens. I go to my local store. They like, we'll get it in around April. Yeah, I'm like, damn, not till April. And then when it come out in April, I'm like, the unboxing of the 50 millimeter dog is 15 YouTubes. And they went out and tested it. Gerald Undone did all of the specs. He done put it on the graph thing. So what are you showing me? Dude, take it, put it on your camera, and do some pictures.
And just be cool with it.
Be cool with it, because this is not your bag.
Don't tell everybody what you got. You don't have to tell everybody what you got.
I did mine in reverse. I do my pictures. Yeah. And then people go, what did you shoot that with? Now you giving up the explanation. Now you're popping in this stuff. I think a lot of times what the internet allows us to do, we run into areas that's not our bag. And I think people suffer from not finding what is your bag? What is your thing? Not what's the bag you're chasing, but what's your bag?
Mm-hmm. What are you good at? What is it that you can really bring to society and to, again, the community that you're looking to shepherd, as opposed to trying to emulate someone else? It's a really good point. That's eye-opening right there for a lot of us. And again, one finger pointing out to you, three fingers pointing back at me. Again, trying to figure out what's the best methodology to do what it is that we do to be most effective. And I think that's always shifting and changing as well. Right. I think at a core, we know what our foundation is, but we still need to, I think, evolve as either our students or our community grows, matures, and gets more fluent in what it is that we're teaching. So we still have to continue to follow that evolution, unless we want to always stay with those 101 types of conversations and not elevate to the 201, 301, more advanced stuff. But
look at this. So Kevin, good point there, Kevin. Kevin says, let your content speak for itself, right?
Show don't tell.
Okay, right. Show don't tell, right? Thank you, Kevin, because I had to let that sink in for a little bit. In order to let your content speak for itself, you need to know what the content is that you have that has a voice, right? And a lot of times people don't even know what their content is. Their content is what Diana tells you the content is. It's what Doc tells you the content is. What Keith at one time was telling you content is. It's what James is telling you the content is. It's what India told you the content is. It's like, even though we might have done that. I don't want to say guilty of doing it. Even though we might have done that, it's like, I can't really tell you what your content is. If you know what your content is, I can tell you how to get your content out. So like a Diana Gladney, I'll look at what she's proven herself on to understand how to get content out, but I don't look at other people for what is my content. So like in photography, the best eye is what you see, not chasing what everybody else sees.
There it is right there. That's the Sammy Star. That's the super chat right there. I'm sending you the Venmo for this. That's it right there. Right?
You feel what I'm saying?
And that one, yeah, that's it. Right. Because
it's what you see. Because honestly, that's how people stood out. Is because, like, let me tell you, the biggest failure I've seen with streamers in the communities that I've been in since the pandemic.
Y'all, now
you ready for this, digger? I watch people start. I started getting attracted to certain people. Like, damn, he or she doing it. I like what they doing. And the minute I started getting disinterested in them is because I felt like they're chasing or becoming somebody that they're not. Because they did a Boys to Men. Although we go to the end of the road. They got to the end of the road because they were like, okay, James got an SM7B. He got the ZVE10. He got so and so. They threw it all and they started going. It's like, those are the standards. But your creativity is limited because you were trying to be the other person.
Trying to be somebody else.
Right. Trying to be somebody else. And so you miss what you're good at. And now it starts to become stale and boring because you start to go into the box of everybody else. That's why I do not like gatekeepers that say, this is what you got to have. No, slide out there, give the pros and the cons, and let people decide for themselves. Don't be the car salesman that sells you the car that you don't need.
And actually, and look for that blessing, right? Look for that person to actually blossom out of that norm, right? And be their own selves, and maybe pivot and come up with a whole different direction for content creation, entrepreneurship, teaching, whatever the case may be. Show them the tools, tell them the tools. Hey, you know what? You could use this, this, and this, or you could use this, this, and this. I recommend X, Y, and Z. Have them go out and get it. Set them up for success, but then let Keith go out there and then do his thing. Don't have you try to be me when you finally do turn on the lights, press record, and hit the lights. Let yourself flourish out of that, because then not only will you enjoy the process, right, and you'll probably do it much longer, as opposed to getting burnt out so fast because you might not see the results and the gains and whatever the case may be. You don't get to those 1,000 and 4,000 as fast as you thought. But if you do it your own way, as opposed to trying to emulate an India Delgado or Sammy Superstar or Kevin Cox, if you just come out there and just do KP, you'll enjoy the valleys and the hills. You'll enjoy all of the learning. You'll enjoy actually when you fall down, because I enjoy the challenges. I enjoy the setbacks, because it either tells me, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this, or maybe I should refine this, tweak this a little bit, but I see this is working for other folks, but that doesn't work for me. So I'm still going to go with my heart and my goals and the things that I've written down on this wall over here that tells me what I'm doing for 2023, as opposed to, I should be doing this because I see someone else blowing up. So I'm soaking this in as much as I hope other folks are soaking this in as well, because it's some real facts that. And not just content creation. Yeah, we're leaning towards, content creators, but this professional and personal growth and elevation as well. So, man, this is good stuff. Let me get back to these comments. Go ahead, say what you got to say.
Well, look, Motivated Mind says when we're distracted, when we're distracted by what others are doing, we're actually neglecting ourselves. Bingo. You know what it's like? It's like playing basketball, right? And you watching the moves that whoever your favorite ball player, I don't want to start naming people, so I'm going to just go back to Iverson, right? You watching Iverson with his dribble, and you concentrate on his dribble trying to do a crossover. That's not your thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or you watching Steph Curry.
Mike.
Yeah, you sitting there looking at God rest his soul. You looking at Kobe do certain moves. Kobe had it in him to do some Jordan-ish moves, but everybody else didn't. I mean, some people call him a little bit of a copycat, but still, all right, he had the skill to do it, and that was his motivation, so he did it. But that's not everybody's thing. So, like, what Motivated Minds is saying is, like, if you're so busy on what everybody else is doing to get there, so it leads me to this point. A lot of it, I watch people, even like myself, suffered some setbacks from structured people. right? See, when you're a creative mind, you can really suffer from structured people, right? So in my world of R&B and hip hop and music, right? That's why, we get blamed for you go in the studio session. Most of the time they smoking weed, drinking, acting stupid, cussing, girls in the studio, whatever. Some of that's true, not all of it, and we leave behind closed doors what happened behind closed doors. But the lawyer and the managers aren't taking over the session. It's do whatever the hell you want to do in the moment. So if you gotta laugh and bust on somebody, if you gotta sit there with a cheesesteak over the mixing board, if you gotta get high, drunk, whatever, that's what they do in the room to create. Once it's created, then the structured people handle the stuff. The engineer that's sitting there mixing your song, he gotta be structured, right? Because he has to record what you said, but that which is recorded is not necessarily structured. And in this realm, I watched a lot of business people, structured people, they get on, they go, okay, you ain't looking at cameras. It's like, okay, your lighting is messed up. I used to get annoyed because people, they would come on my live and they'll be like, oh, your lighting is too hot on one side. I'm like, and? Like, do you understand? I just talked to like 100 people that didn't give a damn about the light being too hot on one side. Man. And what some people don't understand is like creative space, you actually, a part of being creative is breaking what people are structured into rules. Yeah. The other side of that is when people just don't care at all. It's like, dude, we can't even hear you because your mic is not on. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can't see you because you're on mute. Like, those are things that's like that, but that's not necessarily structure. That's just called the basics. Yes. But once you hit the basics, it's like, yo, do your thing. And back to the other point, don't worry about what other people think about you. Be concerned about what you think about yourself. Put that there. And if there's no interest, then maybe you got to shift into something else if you want the attention of people. Yeah. And right.
There's growth. There's growth in that, seeing that. There's growth in that recognition. That's where I look for it. And knowing that maybe you're going down the wrong path, or you're going down a path that's probably not going to be as fruitful when, how, and where you want it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's positive. Let me put this up real quick before I lose it. Mike Reed says, my favorite show I experienced live was from KP when you had Camera Junkie before he was Camera Junkie on your show, just talking about life and struggles and then victory.
Wow, I remember that. See, that's a bag. Like, I learned. So this is one of the reasons why I was just like, I've done my time pastoring, right? I've done my time being responsible for people's, spiritual nourishment in their souls in a confined space. And the pandemic opened up more, and it's through everyday conversation, right? So like, if you in church all the time, you don't get the Mr. Camera Junkie to reach people that's not sitting up in church or watching a church broadcast. Right. So like, what I knew that, in the near future, what I'm gonna end up doing more, that's why that table behind me is there, and when I move, I'm gonna set the room up, and that table's gonna be the centerpiece for conversation. What kind of conversation? A ton of conversations, right? And so what Mike Reed is saying, it's like with Mr. Camera Junkie, like we just shot the breeze, because even with Mr. Camera Junkie, that's my guy. But I'm sitting there like, yo, bro, I'm praying for you because you want to have the product that you're reviewing, right? Yeah. Catch what I just said. You want to have the product that you're reviewing, because if not, you're only going off of specs or anticipation. But it's like people want to know. That's like me describing the bell that's coming out that I don't have. It's like the ding on it is 18 decibels higher than the other one. It's like, yo, when it's going to make sense? When you can go.
When you actually got it in your hand.
Yeah, when you actually got the bell in your hand. So in the meantime, it's like, where your bag is? It's in telling your story. When I tell you, this guy, when he came to the house, him and Aiden, when he was traveling back from up with Ecamm, yo, he was telling me some stuff about equipment that I got, and I was like, this dude know his stuff. He's breaking the iPhone down to me. I was like, That's the stuff you need to be talking about live. Like, you're a freaking genius, dog. Like, seriously, like, the heck with the new camera coming out. If you ain't buying it, talk about the other old cameras that you know. Tell people why they don't need to throw out the kit lens. You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like,
that right
dig
there.
Dig in on stuff that you know that you can talk about. That you understand what I'm saying? Like, hit on that. That's your bag.
Yeah, and especially for our elders, our seniors. Shouts out to my dad who just jumped in as well. I mean, they would appreciate that kind of conversation, right? Why I still can get by with this iPhone 10 when I don't need this 14 or 15 or I don't need the Pro and the Max. Right? Having those kind of conversations, because everyone's already got it, as opposed to talking about the ZV-1E or E1, whatever it is, the full frame camera that's coming out right? Not everyone's gonna get that. I'm even afraid to find out how much it's going to cost. Right? I would tune into a conversation from Luis talking about the real value and benefit of a piece of gear or piece of equipment that we already have, that 80% of the economy and society already has and knows about. You know, why Roku versus Samsung versus LG versus whatever in TVs, so, right? And I'm sure he can get deep in that, but I'm just making up some examples. But I would love to hear him say those types of things. I still tune in Friday because he's a cool cat. I love what he does.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, that's where, as a producer, I learned. Matter of fact, I'm going to her show on Sunday. So and Jill Scott, she hit me. She was like, which show you coming to? Transparency. I was like, I ain't coming to none of them. I might go to New York. Like, I heard you sing. I did your wedding. I've been to your house. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, oh snap, I need to show up, right? And I was like, me and Tina will be there Sunday. But to a point, it's like with Jill, how do you bring out the best in Jill, Music Soul Child, Flowetry, when you work with these people? When you get a Darius Rucker, what do you do with Only Want to Be With You? Like, what song do we cut with them? Like, it's like you have to, as a producer, especially if you're the streamer, you're producing your own show for the most part. You got to see where's your bag at? Like, where's your strong point at? And some people, they're intrigued by what they seen other people do and they try to be that. And when you try to be it, it's like, that's not you. So you can't follow through on what's not you. That's a gem right there. You can't follow through on what's not you. So if it ain't you, there's no follow through because it ain't you.
Goodness.
So it's no you to follow through on. So you're becoming somebody else that you're following, and then you can't keep up. Then you drop off, and then you lost.
Just become.
You see what I'm saying?
Just become.
Yeah. So think about this. There's a lot of people on Amazon. You're not a salesman. I'm a salesman, but Amazon is not my thing. I'm just being honest. Like, it's like you got to have in you that I can sell ice to an Eskimo. If you don't have that in you, then you want to be something that you're not. That's a problem.
Yeah. And if you can, man, okay. I'm just over here looking at all these boxes of stuff that I was kind of supposed to do Amazon gear reviews on. And again, it's just, for me and you, I guess, it's just not us. I can't sit there. I got this top-down camera that doesn't even turn. I don't even have it turned on. I haven't even turned it on. But some folks are built that way, and I love the fact that there are folks out there that can do that. And who want to do that and thrive in that. I mean, we need those people, just like we need surgeons, just like we need folks in the military, just like we need folks who have that skill set. But man, if you're just out there trying to be an Amazon influencer or what is it, live selling expert, and that's not what you do. I mean, and we can see it. We as a consumer, if I'm watching Keith try to sell something on Amazon, and I can tell that he's really not into it. Mm-hmm. If you're selling some gear, some swag that you got for free from someone, and you really don't feel it, we could see it, and I can guarantee you that your sales will suffer from that. So why do it? Why? It's that's not the reps. Those aren't the reps that you want out there in terms of getting the practice and understanding the process. Do something else as opposed to that.
And look, James, then there's the reality of, okay, so I'm gonna introduce something on your platform that I like, and I'm gonna develop it. I'll probably write a book on this one day.
Yeah,
it'll be what's your it, right? So everybody has an it. the problem is, and the way I'm gonna frame this is, it doesn't have a definitive description that people can quantify or qualify, but you kind of know the it. And in your life, you're always chasing the it, but you're becoming the it that you don't know exactly what it is, but you know what it's not. So when you know what it's not, that's when I was sitting there like, I was mad because I'm like, damn, I'm trying to get this Amazon joint. Everybody like, oh, Keith, you can go on Amazon because you know how to, and I'm like, yeah, but I was just farting around with the Edelkrone jib and doing a couple of things, and that was about it. And then I started realizing, I'm like, yo, and this is no offense, I was looking at some people, was like, they suck on Amazon. Like, I'm like, sis, dude, you're whack. Like, nobody want to buy that. But then it hit me, and I was like, yo, some people actually going to do that. And I started saying to myself, yo, that's the matrix you trapped in. I'm not going to get trapped in that.
Yeah.
Because Manny Ortiz doesn't need to be an Amazon influencer. He is an influencer, right? Because if Manny Ortiz go, oh, I stopped using the A7 IV camera, I'm going to be like, why?
You know, what's going on?
And I'm going to look
going?
at him.
Yeah, where he going?
If Sammy tells me the Veltrix lens sucks and Manny Ortiz says it's the bomb, or Tom Buck says it's the bomb, I'm going to look like, let me see what Tom said. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to reconsider. You know, if he tells me,
we're going to do a little more research. That's for sure. Yeah.
And they're not Amazon influencers. Yeah. So why are they bigger than most influencers? Then there's other people, that's they bag, because they want to sit there all day and it's like, so today we have the 14 karat gold plated bell. And this one has a different ringer than the one I showed you yesterday. That is boring and it sucks. Because I'm not having fun now. You see what I'm saying? So listen, shout outs to everybody that's your bag. Like, that ain't mine. But some people got to know that's your it, because those people always have to chase. And here's what I learned. Oof. They sit back and they watch what other people are doing. So like, if you want that Shure bag, you're going to look at what did Keith do with that Shure mic? Yeah. Right? If you want the camera bag on Amazon, you're going to be looking at who doing what with the camera, because you got to sell the cheese in China. You understand what I'm saying? You got to figure that out. But that's your trap, because every morning you got to get up and keep doing the same thing over and over again. I'm not knocking that, but it's like I told my son, he's in school, and in every school in Pennsylvania, Cutco comes at him. It's a knife company, and they say, oh, and you're in between your classes, so you can sell this and make some money. And most of the kids, they sell Cutco knives. And it's like, I had to tell my son, all right, a couple of family members going to buy from you. They're going to get the little thing, whatever. But you ain't a salesman. You're an artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not a salesman. That's a bag you got to chase. That is like, because you're going to end up running across products you don't even believe in. That's but true. See, the biggest influencers that we see on YouTube, they do what they like. Yeah. They do what they like, and they're still above influencers. Like, they're still above the salesman, right? They're still above. Think about this. Here's the problem.
I was going to say,
y'all get mad with me all you want.
Oh, Lord. Go ahead.
Y'all get mad with me all you want. You ready for this? I'm going to say this and move out. Notice, most people that we follow on YouTube that are great, we call them influencers, right? But then the box is Amazon influencer. Think about that. Now there's a qualifier there that puts you in a box. So again, this is where you get the Shark Tank millionaires from, and the box millionaires. They follow the script. They're the ones always sitting in the seat behind the VIP to the conference. I want to be the person that you call for the conference, not the person that goes to the conference.
Let's be clear, okay?
I heard it. Listen, and that right there is, there's a small percentage of people that find their it, and that's the drive. So it's not for everybody. This is the hard truth. It's not for everybody. And I'm out on a mission to even prove it with photography. When I started shooting, I had about few local photographers that was like, oh, you need to do this, and you need to shoot in manual, and you need to this, that, and the third. And then I realized okay, I know how to shoot in manual, but sometimes I can achieve the same thing with auto.
Yeah.
Or with a Sony camera, half auto, half manual, like, or all auto with manual adjustment at your own will. And then it's like, oh, you got to get a flash. And I'm like, you know what? I'm getting a lot of response from the pictures I take without a flash. So let me find out how I want to use the flash, but I'm not going to use what you tell me I need to use. Full circle back to this platform stuff. I watch people in the pandemic. Everybody's got eCams and everybody's like, oh, here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to do. Let them find their why to get to their it. See, like you on your it now. Focus.
I was letting that marinate because I'm gonna cut that up. So I was letting. Go ahead.
you on your it. Like this is why this is so dope right now. Because
I gotta admit, I'm gonna go ahead and tap ourselves on the back, and then I got one comment before you go because I know you. But this is dope.
No, right? you go ahead. You can take it over. Like you have like this is a perfect example that we got a couple of things in common. For the most part, we both got clear pictures and we got an SM7B. Now, what my cord is running into probably ain't the same thing you running your cord into, but we both sound great.
Yeah.
You got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You might have a Sigma lens on. I got a Tamron lens and we both are seeing great. If we had India jump on here as a third person, she going to look great too. Background, all that stuff. But we're three different people because we are in our it.
Man, we in it. That's the exciting part, to be honest with you, about what it is that we're doing. And I'm loving that validation that you're seeing in this idea that I had of conscious conversations. And I'm hoping it's resonating with the community, right? We're going to come in, we're going to chop it up. We're going to find a story. We're going to find a moral. We're going to find action items for each of us to carry out after we get off of this.
Yes.
Gonna find some homework, right? And it's life, it's personal, it's professional, it's your entrepreneurship, it's your interaction and your engagement with folks around you within your sphere of influence. And it's really above that noise because there's a lot of noise out there right now.
Yes.
And I am really consciously looking to make sure that anytime I press this button and go live, that it's not madness, right? I mean, it's not the same old prank videos. It's not the same old dancing videos. It's something that will actually allow someone to think and resonate and say, and I can take some actions from this conversation that James and Keith were having just now and do better. I actually just made some swag called Do Better to Be Better. Right.
Nice.
And there's meaning behind focus. They focus. I mean, stuff like that, right? Just if we can actually get on here and actually provide value that actually helps somebody to do better and be better in their own daily life, this hour and 18 minutes that we've been online is well worth it. And that's the only reason behind all it. It's not a monetary thing. The monetary pieces are nice, so whatever the case may be. So shouts out to all that, the merch sales and the super chats. Appreciate all that. But that's not the idea, right? The idea is actually to be a positive influence into other folks. I'm not an influencer though. I'm an advocate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like value the access that you have to people that influence you, right? Because if you value the access, then it'll help you in your process, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people don't value the access because they're trying to be the people that they're influenced by. If you value the access, like me, I just want access into the VIP. You see what I'm saying? I ain't trying to be nobody in that. I want them to see the me, and I want my it to be seen to their vision, right? The who I am. So I'm only just on the access too, because I already know me. And then if I'm still trying to find me, and part of the process is getting to my it. Getting to my it means I need to connect with James Hicks.
Yeah.
So when I connect with James Hicks, I'm valuing the access that I have to a James Hicks. So if I see some stuff that James is doing, I'm like, yo, dude, what are you doing? It's the access that I'm valuing. So in that access, I'm like, okay, let me see what's for me. So it's kind of like access to B&H to look through all the equipment to find
why
what
use
works
B&H
for
as
you.
An example?
Yeah, you know, but B&H is like a source of like being accessible, a store that's accessible.
Come on.
Right?
Yeah.
That you don't have to go that far to get to if you're in that area. So like the reason why I want to go up there is because when you go on B&H, there's a lot of stuff that you only see online that you can touch.
Yeah.
You can put your camera in the bag, see how it worked for you, put it on, look at yourself with it, you know, and not assume online.
Doubting Thomas could never be that because we got to touch it. We got to see it and touch it. Well, we like that. Well, I'm okay. I done went that route.
Yeah. Access is it, man. I love it. Access is it, man. I'm telling you.
I'm going to bring up this comment and then I'm going to let you go because I know it's late night and you probably got to go eat. I don't know what you got to do. When we are distracted by what others are doing, we are actually neglecting ourselves. Did I already put that up there? I just kept... No, I think we already put that one up there. Here it is. Motivated Minds is coming with this heat here. Some of us struggle with an addiction to the validation of others, a tough one to break. But we can learn to turn the desperate need to a healthy desire to be affirmed. My goodness.
That's big.
That's hot
I agree.
Right there. That's hot right there. All right there. God.
No, that's good. It's what was that word again? It's the
big words.
The
too.
validation of others. Yeah, that validation of others. That's what a lot of people suffer from. Validation of others. And they stay, I hate to use this word oppressed, but they stayed pressed down and under, and they never got to their it because of being validated by others. And I learned that not being concerned about being validated by other people, it gave you the space. It gave me the space to become and to get into, into my it. So something else they said, when you move away from the noise, moving away from noise, you have to look at what you're moving into. So if I shift off of Facebook, look for me more on Instagram. If I fade on Instagram, look for me on YouTube. If I fade off of all of them, stay tuned, right? And then when you see me, it's intentional. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, never let people push you all the way into some kind of corner where you shut down. Allow you to dictate your own shutdowns. Allow you to close your own doors and open your door. Don't let nobody slam you in a door or put you in a box. You dictate the space that you want to be in. And you learn how to determine it. So, yes, if you can't keep up with the Joneses on this, don't worry about it. Slide back. You know what I'm saying? And be like, okay, let me sit in my bag over here. So I'll pick the camera up and I'm like, I'm gonna get outdoors. And then now the stills, that's my strategy. The stills, because, video wise, I was just like, all right, enough of that. And the stills became a strategy because it's like, I realized I can tell more stories with stills.
Because they're open to interpretation. And
yes,
they're open to interpretation. And what you're doing was regurgitated here by ID. Do your thing. You ain't got to tell everybody about it. Just move in silence. That's so much. It's so powerful when you do that.
Because people are interested in your story, right? And what's the best way to tell your story? Look at us. We all have sinned in a way in this social media world. We all in creative world. Our biggest sin is getting caught up in what we're using to capture creativity, right? There's a time and a space for it, but we've accumulated so much stuff. And what do we have to show for it? What's the catalog that we have to show for it? I don't even use my GoPro no more. Like, it's just easier to take the phone out because the phone 1080p matches a lot better with my Sony's. So I use a play between the two. And most people, the way I'm shooting it, they don't even know which one is which when I'm shooting in vertical mode on the A7 IV because I'm into the creativity part. And nobody listens and says, oh, the microphone on the camera sounds better than the microphone on the phone. You understand what I'm saying?
Ain't nobody that serious about it. They're really not. They may. Well, okay, we can go a whole nother hour, but we're not.
Right, you're right. You're right.
Because we could.
Close this out, Reverend. You got it.
So, folks, listen. This is what we get into. Make sure you subscribe to the Convos. Make sure you subscribe to my channel as well. Right now, our schedule is bi-weekly on Thursday evenings, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, and this is what we do. Conscious Conversations. We like to just chop it up. Anybody want to come online one time with us as well? ID, you invited. KC, you invited. Noosh, I see you jumped in the building. I see Flo. Listen, anybody that want to come on and chop it up with us, you are open.
India can just bring her lazy behind up here to the house. She know that already.
Come on now, and you get together so she can ring that bell. She can come ring that bell.
I'm gonna sick Tina on. I'm gonna tell Tina to go down there and fight her DC style.
I'm gonna leave that alone, right? She coming. She said she coming through. So I'm gonna leave that, and we gonna end on that note. We gonna end on
India
that.
know how to work everything in here. She come here when I'm not home. She just get the code, come in and go live. She already know. Matter of fact, her name's still in my daggone computer. She know how to work all this stuff.
Fix your cable management is what she gonna do. She gonna fix your cable management. All right, brother. Hey, be good to yourself, man.
All right, man.
I'll holler at you later.